We have to stand up against the mutilation, indoctrination and adult-ification of children. Shocking new details reveal that more than 70 children aged just 3 and 4 years old were sent to an NHS transgender service. There were also 140 5-year-olds and 169 6-year-olds. Sending preschoolers to the Gender Identity Development Service was, in my view, akin to child abuse. We have here a potent combination of activist groups who want to push this on children to suit their agenda, child psychologists who, I would argue, need to see a psychologist themselves, and dodgy parents. Yes, I mean it when I say dodgy parents. What kind of parent looks at their 3-year-old and sends them off to a trans clinic? I'll tell you who. Parents who are so desperate for their child to be special, unique and different that they will go to any lengths to try and make that a reality. Parents are desperate for their little one to be gifted, to be a genius, to be a prodigy. When they realise that that isn't happening, they're finding another way to make them stand out. These are just my views, of course. That's what I reckon is going on here. I think that's being quite generous, actually, because I suspect in reality that it is possibly a Munchausen by proxy situation, and the NHS has just been lapping that up. I would love to see the correlation between parents who decided to raise their child as gender neutral, read them books about gender questioning youngsters and virtue signalled on social media about being a trans ally, and then miraculously deciding that their own child was born into the wrong body and carting them off to a clinic when they're barely out of nappies. We are going to witness, I think, a tidal wave of lawsuits in the decade ahead. Lawsuits brought by young adults who feel as though they were medically mutilated by over-eager medical professionals when they were too young to make their own decisions. But unfortunately, that also means a tidal wave of ruined lives. One victim, and I do class her as a victim, who has now detransitioned, told The Telegraph that she now feels like a mutilated experiment gone wrong. She was reportedly referred to the Gender Identity Development Service by a trans charity and only saw professionals 3 times before being referred to the adult clinic after turning 17. She claims she was referred to adult services, she was prescribed cross-sex hormones and put on the waiting list for a mastectomy after her 2nd appointment. The best solution that they've come up with so far is to raise the age of referral to 7. That is absolutely ridiculous. Children like different things. Boys might like dresses. They might like a Barbie doll. Girls might like to be a tomboy. You have to let these things run a bit, don't you? Does anybody watching this right now think it would have been a good thing for their lives if they were defined by the person they were when they were 3 years old, or 5 years old, or 7 years old? No, me neither. I can barely remember being that age. It is not inclusive, kind or woke to want to medically intervene in a child's genitalia or hormones, and we shouldn't normalise that behaviour.